Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 8th webinar regarding some updates on the COVID-19 situation for our master program, IMBRSea. Similar like previous weeks, you can post questions in the chat box, which you can find next to the viewing panel, so and expect that this will go quite smooth. We have actually quite a short agenda, but anyway, it's quite an important one, I think. So let me first discuss a number of elements that we would like to share with you. So, as a starting point, so the visa situation. We're aware that there is quite a lot of you who are in a dubious situation in terms of, okay, what should I do in order to make sure that my visa situation remains okay. People are in certain countries where residence permits, for example, are not provided for the moment. Also applying for a visum becomes tricky because situations are unclear in terms of, for example, summer schools, for example, in terms also of your upcoming mobility. So just I want to let you know that we're aware and that we received already some clear guidelines on a number of situations that were gathered. So, and we informed, for example, also Ghent University, the special service, the special unit that there is on particular cases, just to make sure that we get an answer from them, that where we can update you in the best possible way, and also to make sure that we can guide you where possible in an easy way. Yeah. Related to that is actually also that we decided, in order to give you as soon as possible clear information on, for example, mobilities, on annual symposium, summer school, but also the start of the next semester for those students that are in the first year, for example, that we actually planned an additional board meeting next Monday. So next Monday, we have planned a meeting with the only agenda point will actually be what is the different situation in different universities for September, the start of the academic year, but in relation to that also, for example, the possible situations on, for example, as staff members, are they allowed to travel? Are students allowed to travel? What about Erasmus scholarships? All these kind of things. So that will be discussed on a board meeting next Monday. I think it's important also that the student representatives that you have are also present, if they can, also during this board meeting, and that, if possible, still, because it's quite short notice, we are aware of that, that if you have additional points, for example, related to that the student representatives are really aware on what potential cases are there, for example, to make sure we can come up with the best potential answer there. But the main point is that during that board meeting we want to create some clarity also for visa situations, for example, and also for students that are still staying at a certain country for finalizing, for example, thesis work, that we can also give guidelines to these students. Look, maybe it's better to go home, and or you can be expecting this or this. So that's the aim of that meeting. After the meeting, we will inform you all through an email, most probably, about the outcomes of that meeting, and those outcomes, for example, if there's steps to be taken, further steps to be taken on that, of course, during the next during the next webinar next week, we will also update you. Okay, so next point is related to marine training. A lot of you have been entering data. I just want to inform you that I had a meeting with the IMBRSea director earlier this week, and so this week, by the end of this week, so being today or tomorrow, we will send actually the first list of records that have been put in, so people can receive them in the next coming weeks, probably, the actually payout for the work that has been done. So that's one thing. Another thing is that we want to announce now already is that we're launching a new version of this marine training portal on World Ocean Day 2020, which is planned for the 8th of June. Just as a first announcement already, we will organize something online, probably hopefully with an interesting speaker as well, but I just want to inform you already that on that day something will happen where you have also been taken part in, so you please block this maybe already in your agendas. A short update on the thesis readers then. For quite some cases we do not have a complete situation yet, and we were informed about certain elements, but that's also something actually we wanted to discuss also on the next board meeting, not on Monday, but next week on Wednesday or Thursday we have another board meeting with IMBRSea. Yeah, and that's one of the things we want to take up there. Okay, what to do with specific situations, for example, and can we find an alternative way in order to make sure that you get a thesis reader, potentially then from within our consortium. But I just want to update you on that. Don't panic, for example, because for most thesis supervisors or promoters, we received some messages, some inputs, clarifying why, for example, they did not upload anything yet. So don't panic on those situations, because we're going to discuss them next week during the board meeting. Then a short message regarding the professional practices. A lot of them are ongoing, and we see that people are updating their portfolios. But maybe it's important that for the personal objectives which you are formulating, that you're aware that you can split them in separate personal objectives, because now quite a few of you just put quite a bunch of text there, and for you in the end it will be hard actually to justify how you have reached a certain personal objective, and we just included a screenshot, so that's how it looks like in your portfolios. So if you add your personal objectives, what you can do actually, you can add multiple ones, so it's not one list of personal objectives you have to add, but it's rather each objective kind of outlined in different entries that you do, and that will make your life also much easier when you have to show proof for each of these individual objectives that you actually try to reach. So that was the general comment. We see that a lot of the remote professional practices are actually ongoing and going quite smooth. It's good to see that, at least that this is going well, that teams are working together. So really nice. So in that context, I don't think we have for the moment major things to announce here. Okay, good. Then let me see if there's any questions, because for the urgent agenda, that were the only things that for the moment we had to communicate to you, but let's see if there's any questions that come in. Maybe as a side comment, important to mention also is that next week during this exceptional board meeting that we organize on Monday, we plan also to discuss the situation for new students that are starting in September. Because there, again, I think we should create some clarity and some mechanisms so they see that studies will still be possible. But I think we hope to create some clarity on in what formats things will take place in different partner universities. I see that there are no questions coming in so far. Also, if you have announcements you want to make during these webinars, feel free. Jan, you have a question. You mentioned the personal objectives and gave some tips for it. Is there a way that people who have already submitted them can still make changes? The easiest actually that you can do is just upload new ones. You just add new ones, and you also will be receiving these days also comments on your objectives, whether they were approved or not, or whether you have to actually change them in a way or not. Ambre, you have also a question. Can you please nominate the students who are selected for an Erasmus grant no later than today? The deadline for the nomination by partners to Sorbonne University is today. I'm not fully clear on what you actually mean with this question. For Erasmus grants, the situation is like that this is university matter, yeah. So in the sense that universities have to decide, and so it's things we're not directly involved in, but we can check, for example, also for Ghent University, and also bring that up in the next board meeting to check with the local coordinators actually what the situation is. I hope this is kind of an answer. But deadlines for applying for grants, for example, yeah, it's things with the individual universities you should actually check what is going on there. Yeah. Okay, let's see text coming in from the chat here with the coordination team. Okay, it's a total list that is needed apparently for Sorbonne. So yeah, we will check this indeed. Yeah, Lise, just a quick question about the remote policy. Has it been decided what form they will take? Yeah, what form it will take. So most of the resets will be organized or are applicable for Ghent University. There's quite a lot of them there. Yeah, and the teachers are actually now setting up exam formats which should be communicated quite soon to all of you. So that's been followed up. For sure, it will be online reset exams. Yeah, so that's already, and so mechanisms are being implemented now at Ghent University, so they can actually, in an easy way, also take place by the end of June. Yeah. Arnaud, Portfolio Week 2, Background Information Survey. Some questions in that survey do not apply anymore for the remote professional practice. Are we then supposed to fill in this survey? True, Arnaud. For these questions, you just indicate, yeah, not applicable. Yeah. If it's not the case, yeah, so you're still supposed to fill in the survey, because you can also indicate, for example, yeah, whether you want also a personal interview with somebody from the team. So that's also a possibility. So, but there are still a lot of valid questions, I think, also on the startup meeting where the things were quite well explained to you, for example, that are there. So try to fill in for these surveys, yeah, the information you have available. If it's not applicable, you just enter an NA in that question. Yeah. I see there's no more questions coming in. That's good. Yeah. Rachel, do we still have to submit printed copies of the thesis by mail? Will the office be open to receive them? The campuses are still closed, and I'm not sure how we would arrange to have it printed. Good question, actually, and to be honest, we didn't talk about that part yet, but I think I can now state as a proposition, it will have to be approved by the board because it's a change in the thesis guidelines, but I think online copies or digital copies will be sufficient in the current period. Yeah. So with a 99% certainty, I can tell you that digital copies will be enough. So no printed copies will be needed. Yeah. This will be confirmed, by the way, in a later period once this has been approved on our next board meeting. Okay, so there's no major issues because I don't see kind of them piling up. Then, well, this is a very short webinar. I'm sure the next one will be quite an important one, so I really recommend you, because then we will also, I recommend you to watch the next one, but I think it's also important that next week, because we will elaborate on the number of decisions that probably will have been taken on Monday during the exceptional board meeting, yeah, I think it's good that if you can be there, it's easier that we explain it there. So inform your colleagues as well that next week's webinar might be an important one for a number of steps in the program and towards the coming months. Yeah, okay. So thank you for watching, and yeah, good luck in the coming week. Good luck with the work you're in, thesis, professional practice. And if you have issues you want to be discussed also next week, please let them know by email so we can anticipate on them. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.